My mom, she passed away in April. This is 2 years already. And she was like, when she's still alive, she always talked with me in tears. She said, Venerable, when I die, please bury me. Don't burn me. Because I'm afraid. I'm hot. The heat gonna burn me and I'm scared. I said, no, I will have to do cremate for you. I have to do the burning. Cannot bury. And she cried. She keep on crying. I said, I explained to her so she knows what to do, so she can accept it. And then I asked her one question. So are you afraid of burning? What about when we bury you? You cannot breathe. You cannot breathe because all that dirt is on top of you. How can you breathe? And she cried even worse. Right? And this is something that we, as a human being, all of us have to go through. No one can escape. Which family in here in this crowd that have never had a person pass away? Raise your hand. Never? No hand at all. That tells us what? This life is impermanent. No one in this world can escape. Regardless if we accept it or not, we still have to go through that circle of life. That cycle of life is for all beings. If we born, when we born, it means we're walking towards the death. And we are dying each and every second.
Yeah, I did.
Right? Each and every second we are dying.
Sure.
But we didn't realize that. We always thought that we will live long. Our life will last a long time. And that is why we always waste our time, thinking that we will have all the time in this world so we can waste. By thinking like that, we only took care of our outer body, which is this physical body only. Abandon the inner child that inside of us that's been cried, asking for help for so long. But we didn't care. We're still trying to do everything just to satisfy, just to take care of this outer body. While this will pass, this is dying, this will go away. Everything on this body will become decayed. But the inner child is something that will carry on with us to the next life. There are some that believe next life, there are some are not. But in Buddhism, we know that it's the cycle of life. When the circle of life is when we're born, we get aging, sick, and die, and then we reborn again. That is why the populations keep rising and rising. It's beings from different places to come to. It's not just this human realm, right? Many. And so that is our belief. But regardless of our belief is truth or not, I just want all of us to understand this. While we're still alive, we should do something better, benefits ourselves when we're still alive, before we die. Because after we die, we cannot do all the things in this world like we can right now, right? Regardless if we have the next life or not. But within this lifetime, we have to be better. We have to be better. Because one day of peacefulness, one day of happiness, that counts. instead of one day of suffering. Is that right? Who would choose suffering instead of happiness and peace? But unfortunately, in this world, we live in this busy world. And that's why we always trying to chase after it. And that's why we forgot ourselves. We keep on forgetting ourselves. That is something that has been crying and asking for help, but we keep on forgetting it. Let it cry. Let it suffer. Until one day we cannot bear those feelings anymore. And then we thinking of killing ourselves to escape. But we cannot escape. From dying to kill ourselves to escape? No, it's not escape. That will go in to add more sufferings to our life. The next slide, if we did it. And so, as a human being, it's very difficult for us to have this form. And we are very special and very grateful that we still have eyes, nose, ears, mouth, hands, and legs. We still have everything. Look at those people who unfortunate to live without these. Right? We have seen a lot. There might be members in our family members too. How suffer they are. We can see it. We face it. And we have to take care of them because they are our family member. We will have to take care of it. But there is one time in our life, we still have everything on this body. But what if when we're sick, in critical condition, when our mind is totally lost, we don't know anything. We're just lying there and waiting for people to feed us. That is when we're sick. We have critical condition. We are in critical conditions. And all of us will have that. Just different kind of sickness, right? Because we are human beings. And nowadays we eat a lot of chemicals. Is that right?
Yeah.
We consume a lot of chemicals. But chemicals are good taste. That is why we always go for it. Right? Because we always want to taste something good. We don't want to taste something that's bad. And our eyes, we always want to see something that is beauty. Right? We always want to see the beauty. Our ears always want to listen to something that's sweet. Sweet talk. Sweet talk. Sugar-coated talk. And guess what? You get diabetes soon. If you love sweet talk, you get diabetes soon. Okay? Telling you. So stop loving sweet talk. And when somebody's saying something that is not the way you wanted it, you react. This is not sweet. Why are you talking to me that way? Why are we reacting that way? It's because we already have the habit of listening to sweet talk. And so now our friend, our family members, or somebody else tell us that you shouldn't do that. That is not nice. And then we react. Because we always thought that we are super nice. Because people always say that you're so beautiful, you're so awesome, you're so nice. And all those sweet talk, and we love it. Right? We love it. And now it's the thing that is not the way we expected comes, we react and we shock. That's it, listening to sweet talk. I mean, this poison. We are taking poison in every time when we love sweet talk. And those poison won't kill us right away. Kill us little by little, right? Gradually, it will kill us. When nobody can talk sweet to us anymore, we'll go crazy. Our nose. We always want to smell something good, right? For film, we have to go out there and pick out the one that we love, we like. We test all kind of perfumes, things like that. But when something that is not smell good, we react. And guess what? In our toilet, all kind of food we consume, high protein, low protein, steak, tofu, doesn't matter, go out the same thing and have the same smell. And we wouldn't like that. But something that is special about the toilet, even though it smells, but you would love to go in there and chat with your lovers, which is your fault.
Yeah.
You love it, that's why you laugh that hard. You've been there and done that all day long. When you go to work, you're waiting for the time to go to the toilet and talk with your person. While your co-worker suffering outside waiting for his turn and her turn to go in there. And then when you're not mindful, you have to change your lover because you dropped her and him in that toilet. Not you feel it in. Okay? You have to go out there and get another lover.
That's what you said yesterday.
You waste a lot of money.
Yeah, I think it looks okay.
This is something that we always want to smell good.
Yeah.
We wouldn't like something that smells bad.
Okay.
Sensation.
Yeah.
Our body.
But Jan,
you know, our venerable monks, we've been walking and we're sleeping on the ground, right? We don't have bed.
So we need to let
on this ground, that floor, grass, water. When we sleep on the grass outdoor back then, we sleep in the rain, so whenever rain come, we all wet because the water going.
Yeah.
Does it feel good when we sleep on the ground like that?
Yeah, okay.
Does it feel good?
Okay, yeah.
I don't think so. Because this body, we always want to touch something that is smooth, soft. Is that right? We don't want anything that is hard. That sensation, that feeling is not desirable. And we always want to do something, touch something desired. And this is something that will have to suffer because when we travel, when we do things, and there are people that cannot sleep on a different bed when we travel. This is not my bed. I cannot sleep on it. That is suffering. That is suffering. So if we, as human beings, we have these five senses, if we can adapt and flexible, we be great. As a venerable monks, we have to be very easy to be trained and very flexible. Have to be flexible to adapt to any condition of living. That is our practice. That's why I choose to walk barefooted. To test myself. You think that walking barefoot is good sensation, good feeling or no?
No.
Of course not. This morning I stepped on a lot of rocks. It hurt, right? And when it hurt like that, I didn't react. I just observed it. That feeling of that pain. And then continue back to my breathing when I walk. That's what we always do. And this is something that I would love for all of us to do. Because when we already come out here for this same mission, peace, it means that we willing to practice, we willing to learn something new for ourselves and move on with this year of 2026 be a better person, right? To have a peaceful life, right? Is that right?
Yeah.
So in order for us to have a peaceful life, we have to change. We have to change. The first night when I entered into North Carolina, there was thousands and thousands and thousands of people. And I asked one question. How many of you have actually practiced the mindfulness method that I have shared? And a lot of people already listened to it, but not many people practice. That is sad, because that is the key to have peace. But we didn't practice. We just come out, probably to look at the monks, probably just to see what's going on, or probably just to come out and to hear the talk, and then come back home, everything back to normal. Then we are wasting our time. How many hours we actually spent this morning to be here right now? How many hours was it? Many hours?
5 hours.
Life is, in its truest essence, a pilgrimage, whether we are conscious of it or not. We are all travelers moving across the landscape of time, stepping day by day toward an inevitable destination. We often treat our lives as a series of unrelated events, a job, a weekend, a vacation, a crisis, but beneath the surface commotion, there is a single, continuous thread. We are walking home to ourselves. This is the profound invitation offered by the teachings of Venerable Bhikkhu Panikkara, the spiritual leader of the Walk for Peace. Through his journey, which is both a literal trek across miles of asphalt and earth and a metaphorical journey into the human heart, he holds up a mirror to our modern existence. He asks us to pause, to look at the dust on our feet and the burden in our minds, and to consider a different way of being. His message is not merely about walking, it is about waking up. It is a gentle but firm shake to the shoulder of a sleeping world, reminding us that while we cannot control the length of the road, we have absolute agency over how we walk it. The journey begins with a confrontation that most of us spend our entire lives avoiding: the reality of our own impermanence. We live in a culture that sanitizes death, hiding it behind closed doors and polite euphemisms. Yet Bhikkhu Panikkara brings it into the light with a touching, almost humorous intimacy. He shares the story of his own mother, who, just years before her passing, negotiated the terms of her end. She wept at the thought of cremation, fearing the heat of the fire, only to weep harder when the alternative of burial was presented, fearing the suffocating weight of the earth. It is a deeply human moment, negotiating for comfort even in death, and it reveals our desperate attachment to the physical form. We laugh, perhaps nervously, because we recognize ourselves in her bargaining. We, too, want to exit this life without discomfort, without the messy reality of the end. But the Venerable cuts through this anxiety with a sharp, compassionate truth. No one escapes. He asks the crowd, which family in here has never had a person pass away? The silence that follows is the answer. The circle of life is inclusive. It leaves no one out. We are born, we age, we fall ill, and we die. This is not a tragedy. It is the terms of the contract of being alive. The suffering comes not from the cycle itself, but from our refusal to accept it. We live as if we have infinite time, as if the warranty on our bodies will never expire. We tell ourselves, I will be better later, or I will find peace when I retire. But the monk reminds us that we are dying each and every second. Every tick of the clock is a heartbeat we do not get back. This realization is not meant to induce panic, rather, it is the ultimate liberator. When we truly understand that our lease on life is daily, impermanent, and rapidly depreciating, the trivial worries of the morning commute or the petty grievances of the workplace lose their gravity. We stop wasting time because we realize there is no time to waste. When we live in denial of this impermanence, we tend to misalocate our care. We become obsessed with the vessel and neglect the contents. Bhikkhu Panikkara points out a tragic irony in the modern human condition. We spend vast amounts of energy, money, and time manicuring the outer body. We exercise, we diet, we dress, we slather on creams to hide the evidence of time. We treat the body like a temple, yet we leave the altar inside entirely unattended. Inside this aging, decaying shell lives what he calls the inner child, our consciousness, our spirit, the tender part of us that feels, connects, and yearns for peace. This inner self has been crying out for help for years, perhaps decades. It feels the hollowness of our materialism. It feels the ache of our loneliness even in a crowded room. But instead of turning inward to comfort this child, to sit with it and ask, "What do you need?" we drown out its cries with more noise. We buy a better car to soothe the inner child. We go on a more expensive vacation to distract the inner child. We polish the exterior of the house while the resident inside sits in the dark, weeping. The Venerable warns us that this neglect is dangerous. If we let the inner self suffer for too long, the pain becomes unbearable. This is the root of the despair that leads so many to feel that life is no longer worth living. We try to escape through drastic measures, not realizing that we cannot kill the body to heal the mind. The work must be done here, now, while we have the rare and precious privilege of a human existence. We have eyes to see beauty, ears to hear wisdom, and hands to serve. To waste this machinery on vanity while our spirit starves is the greatest tragedy of all. But why is it so hard to look inside? Why do we avoid the inner work? The answer lies in our addiction to comfort, or what Bhikkhu Panikkara colorfully describes as our diabetes of the ego. Just as we crave sugary, chemical-laden foods because they taste good in the moment, our minds crave sweet talk. We want to be told that we are right, that we are beautiful, that we are perfect. We surround ourselves with people who validate our illusions and algorithms that reinforce our biases. We feast on praise and starve on truth. This addiction to sweetness makes us fragile. When someone offers us a moment of honesty, a friend pointing out a flaw, a partner expressing a need, or a teacher correcting a mistake, we react with hostility. We scream, "This is not sweet. Why are you talking to me like that?" We have become spiritually diabetic, unable to process the healthy bitterness of growth. We shut down, we defend, we attack. In doing so, we poison ourselves. We choose the slow death of comfortable delusion over the sharp, sudden pain of growth. The Venerable's advice is counterintuitive. Stop loving the sweet talk. Stop seeking the sugar-coated lies. Real love, for oneself and from others, often comes in the form of a hard truth. It is the medicine we refuse to take because it tastes bad, even though it is the only thing that will cure the sickness of our ego. Our avoidance of discomfort extends beyond our interactions with people. It permeates how we inhabit our own solitude. We have become terrified of being alone with our own minds. Bhikkhu Panikkara uses a vivid, somewhat hilarious, and deeply convicting image to illustrate this: the modern relationship with the smartphone and the toilet. It is a humble, earthy example, but it exposes the depth of our distraction. The restroom is a place of biological necessity, usually associated with unpleasant smells and the waste of the body. Logically, it is a place we should want to leave quickly. Yet, we linger there. Why? Because we have brought our lover, our phone, in with us. We would rather sit in a smelly room scrolling through the curated lives of strangers than spend 3 minutes in silence with our own thoughts. We are desperate for dopamine. We treat the digital world as a refuge, changing lovers from one app to another, looking for the next hit of entertainment to numb us. Meanwhile, life is happening outside the door. Colleagues are waiting. Family is waiting. The present moment is waiting. We are absent. We are physically present in the most mundane of places, but our minds are thousands of miles away in a digital cloud. This is not just a bad habit, it is a spiritual crisis. If we cannot be mindful in the bathroom, How can we hope to be mindful in a crisis if we cannot disconnect from the matrix of distraction when we are most alone? We have lost our sovereignty. We have become slaves to our senses, led around by the nose, the eyes, and the craving for stimulation. To reclaim our lives, we must learn to be flexible. We must learn to endure. This is where the metaphor of the barefoot walk becomes a practical instruction for living. Bhikkhu Panikara speaks of the monks sleeping in the rain, on wet grass, with no bed to cushion their bones. He speaks of walking without shoes, stepping on sharp rocks and scorching pavement. Is it pleasant? Of course not. It hurts. But there is a profound difference between pain and suffering. Pain is the signal from the nerve endings that a rock is sharp. Suffering is the story the mind tells about the rock. Why is this happening to me? I wish I had shoes. This isn't fair. I can't take this. The mindfulness practitioner feels the rock. They acknowledge, this is sharp, this is pain, and then they return to their breath. They do not react. They absorb the sensation without letting it shatter their peace. This is the superpower of resilience. In our comfortable American lives, we are like the traveler who cannot sleep unless the bed is exactly the right firmness, the pillow exactly the right temperature. We have made ourselves rigid. We fall apart when the Wi-Fi is slow, when the coffee is cold, when the traffic is heavy. We have lost our flexibility. The monk invites us to toughen our feet, not by walking on actual asphalt, perhaps, but by walking on the metaphorical rocks of life without complaining. When we become flexible, when we can sleep on the grass of uncertainty and walk through the rain of adversity, we become free. We realize that our peace does not depend on the external environment being perfect. It depends on our internal environment being stable. This stability is not a gift, it is a practice. And this leads to the final, urgent plea of the pilgrimage. Bhikkhu Panikara looks out at the thousands who have gathered to see him. They have driven for hours, waited in the heat, and reorganized their schedules just to catch a glimpse of the walking monks. He asks them, how many hours did you spend to be here? The answer is 5, maybe 6 hours. And then he asks the harder question, how many of you have actually practiced? It is easy to be a spectator of peace. It is easy to watch a video, read an essay, or attend a rally and feel a warm glow of inspiration. It is easy to look at a monk and think, he is so peaceful, and then go back to yelling at our children or ignoring our inner sadness. But spectating changes nothing. We can look at a gym for 5 hours, but we will not build a single muscle until we pick up a weight. We can look at a map for a lifetime, but we will never reach the destination until we take a step. The Venerable warns that if we just come to look, listen, and leave, we are wasting our time. We are trading the precious currency of our life for a moment of entertainment. The year 2026, or any year we find ourselves in, offers a blank page, but the page will not write itself. To have a peaceful life, we have to change. We cannot keep the same habits, the same addictions to sweet talk, the same distracted minds, and expect a different result. Peace is not something that descends upon us. It is something we construct. Brick by brick, breath by breath. It requires the courage to silence the phone, to listen to the difficult truth, to comfort the inner child, and to walk barefoot over the inevitable rocks of our destiny. So, the invitation stands. The walk is not just for the monks on the highway. The walk is for you. Right where you are. It is the walk from your head to your heart. It is the walk from the distraction of the screen to the reality of the sunset. It is the walk from the fear of death to the fierce, loving embrace of life. We are all pilgrims, and the sun is setting. Let us not waste another second. Let us begin the real practice. Not tomorrow, not one day, but in this very breath. This is how we come home. This is how we find peace.